if you were offered a seafood basket that would give you fried shrimp or scallops or I don't know, oysters, clams, soft shell crab, what are you reaching for?
Well, this is funny. So the older that I've gotten, my body is starting to like actively reject shrimp.
Okay.
And not in like I like break out in hives or I have to like go to the hospital, but like it just rejects shrimp. It's like shrimp is not for you anymore. Right. So it would not be the shrimp. I love fried calamari.
Okay.
Absolutely love fried calamari.
I like good fried calamari. There's a lot of bad fried calamari out there.
And shout out to the dead fish up in Crockett where I was a week prior to us recording this. And they have great fried calamari.
Okay.
And it has to be fried because the texture of squid otherwise is gross. I'm good with most fried things. I like a bit of the crunch. It's a texture thing for me. It's like you need a bit of the crunch in the summer. So yeah, fried calamari. But I do like if it's regular. It's like I'll take a lobster or something like that. I'm not. Are you big into seafood like that? What would your response be?
I'm big into seafood like that. I like my default probably is shrimp, but like I like scallops. I like I said, good calamari. Like I don't have soft shell crab all the time, but like I like soft shell.
I could do crab. Sure. I need it to already be broken open to eat, right? Or just like the meat of the crab.
Well, I'm sorry. Clear soft shell crab, you just eat the whole thing. Crab, yes, you have to. But I do like now we're talking just seafood. I was talking like the fried platter type stuff.
Okay,
like, so like a soft shell crab, you just fry the whole damn thing because they're little, and you just eat the whole thing. A crab, like it's
too much work.
You're saying you don't like the work. I do like the work when it comes to crab. I like digging in. I like when I have my grandmother's gumbo and I have crab. It's like, I'm going to have to take the legs and stuff and break them apart and do it myself.
It's too much effort for me. But yeah, I do like fried seafood. It's delicious.
What do you got for me?
My question was going to be, what is your favorite crustacean to eat?
See, look, we're on the same.
Yeah, there we go.
There it is. I am Aaron Neuwirth. I am the editor-in-chief at We Live Entertainment and co-host of Out Now with Aaron and Abe. I'm also a huge Godzilla fan.
My name is Terence Johnson. I am a writer at lenoirauteur.net, and I have seen some Godzilla movies.
And together, this is
Two Black Guys Talk Godzilla.
Here we are.
Back for another week.
Episode 10?
10, yes.
I said that with confidence. Episode 10. Use take 2. And we are talking this week, Ebirah, Horror of the Deep, 1966 film from director Jun Fukuda, his first effort in the Godzilla franchise. Before we get into things, when I said the words Ebirah, Horror of the Deep is the next film we're talking about, like what expectations do you have for a movie like this?
I was expecting a giant octopus of some sort. To tell you the truth, we have seen two times now that there's a giant octopus. I was expecting
an octopus. Does seem to be a fascination with Japan.
Yeah. I was expecting some sort of water-based plot.
Well, yeah.
And I, was expecting Godzilla to have to fight this monster of some sort. And those are my expectations.
I mean,
were they met is a different question. But, that was what I was expecting. I expected the first time we saw a boat that Ebirah was going to pop up, and I was correct.
Well, I mean, great points to get on that one.
we have this is now movie number 5 of this series that we've watched, where it's like a boat is on the water, something bad is about to happen. Alongside, if there's a party, something bad is about to happen. Although in this case, the sort of dance party, nothing bad happened at the dance party other than people just being exhausted. But yeah.
I thought we had a comment about our Gargantua episode. I can't seem to find it anywhere.
That's okay. We might have to do one massive, like, when we finally get through the show era and we do like a wrap up of just like reading every comment.
That's also a way to do it.
That's possible, although that won't be for 700 years. There's so many movies between now and then.
Well, Ebirah, yeah, it's certainly it's a different like stage of Godzilla. Like we've gotten past Condor fights for a bit. Now this is our first island adventure Godzilla movie, based on the order that we're doing things in. We talked about some of these. So now you've seen where it started.
Yeah, and you can certainly feel the change up from Ishiro Honda to going to Jun Fukuda in the vibe of how it's directed, where we are, the type of music that it is, what Godzilla is doing, and so from that perspective, it was an interesting movie to watch. It feels like
let's just say let's do it. Let's get into Ebirah horror.
Yes, we'll get into. Sorry, I'm ready to talk about the movie.
Godzilla, Ebirah, and Mothra in one of the most explosive action pictures ever to hit the screen. From the depths of the ocean comes the most terrifying horror of the deep. From within the mountain caves comes the dreaded monster Godzilla. See the most titanic battle ever screened when the monster of the deep challenges the mighty Godzilla.
Let's read. What's the plot for the people who haven't seen it?
Okay, so the plot of Ebirah, Horror of the Deep, a title I like saying in full because I like a title that has a comma.
It's a great title.
I like a title that has a comma.
Yeah, like Ghidorah, the three-headed monster. Yeah,
it's like here's this thing and here's what its deal is. Mm-hmm. So here we go. This one says, this is pretty straightforward. 4 men searching for one's brother are shipwrecked on Lychee Island, where they encounter Godzilla, a monstrous lobster, and terrorists who have enslaved the natives of Infant Island.
Yeah, that's the plot.
That sums it up. Yeah.
Yeah. So like, this is. I feel like I have a lot of thoughts about this movie, but it's also very challenging to like cohere them and figure out what I want to talk about with it, because this feels like the leanest Godzilla movie that we have watched.
That's fair.
Like, runtime being mercifully short notwithstanding, I just meant like this. Jun Fukuda got up in here and they said, we are giving you just the basics of what we can give a movie. Mm-hmm. Go direct it. And I think it's at times it's very successful, and at times it's not. I think that, I love a good human plot. Mm-hmm. And this movie's human plot is just thin.
Quite.
Like, very.
Well, I mean, some of our leads had to participate in a dance contest in order to get a yacht, which they do not win.
Yes, which my theory about dance numbers in movies.
I know. I was curious where you would land.
This is one of the few that lands outside of the like 96.37%. Because it's this movie it's lean. So it's like really, I do think that there's some good things in it. I applaud a movie that's like, we are just going to start. We're just going to start. The movie just starts. Homegirl is talking to a psychic, finds out that her son, I believe, is still alive, and that sets the younger brother off on trying to figure out how to get the older brother. Mm-hmm. And it's like, wow, we just no preamble. We just jumped right into the story, which I would appreciate, but it's like, but the story is so thin. It's like, oh, that's all that there's going to be to this.
Yeah, so I was certainly curious where you're going to land on this film.
Mm-hmm, because
because I tend to think this is the weakest of the show era.
Woo! Weaker than the one that's coming up.
It's partially because I just don't really like Ebirah that much.
This movie is Godzilla. At some point, will fight a giant lobster.
Yes.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of Godzilla in this movie, which you give it credit for. Like, a lot, like more than normal. There's a lot of Godzilla going on in this movie.
Action.
Not enough. Yeah, that's the thing. There's a lot of Godzilla without having a lot of Godzilla's things to do beyond like stomp around a bit in limited locations and eventually fight a lobster. But yeah, it's the one I tend to rank lowest in the Showa era. And even overall in general, I'm just kind of not huge on this one. I do admire the things you're mentioning are things that I do admire about it.
Yeah.
There's obviously it has its ideas and whatnot, but I think part of it comes down to Fukuda kind of getting his feet wet in this.
Yes.
So it shows. That reflects in the next one as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm very curious where you're going to land when you get to Gigan and Megalon, because those certainly have their fans and others that are less enthusiastic about it.
Yeah.
And we've already talked about his last film, which we record. We haven't released that yet, but you'll hear it. But I think it's compared to this film, you can really see how Fukuda as a director has, I think, come a long way as far as how to direct a Godzilla movie.
Certainly. So, I see the tendrils of where he's going to go.
Mm-hmm.
Like I will say, I think that there are certain things about this production that I'm like, okay, that's going to become like new staples.
Mm-hmm.
Island Adventure.
Yeah.
The music in particular in this finds a good blend of like classic Godzilla, but like forward not projecting us into the future, but essentially music of the day.
It feels more of the era.
It feels more of the era, but while still being classic. So like there are some things in here.
This is notably it's a lot of new people in here. I believe it's a different special it's a different special effects person. So it's been like with Toho, but now they're taking over the lead here. The music is by Masuro Sato, who takes over for Ifukube, which was apparently against the producer's wishes at the time. But
interesting.
They went for that anyway. And obviously it's a different director. So yeah, it does reflect a kind of a change in the order, and it's not like the budget suddenly got increased either. So it's like, which that's the purpose of these island adventures is we can keep it very contained to this island, and then like stuff that kind of goes, things that don't require us to do it a variety of locations. We can use the studio for the island, and reflect on that. And even the reuse, like there is a giant condor in this movie that's simply called Giant Condor, which
I definitely was like, who is this?
It's just a reuse of the Rodan costume, but like made to be
added some
different.
Feathers, claws and talons, I should say.
We do get the return of Mothra. I will note this is the last time you're going to see Mothra in this form, along with the twins and even the actors generally associated with Mothra-based stories until the next era. So
that is devastating to find out.
Obviously, you have one more instance of a version of Mothra.
Yes,
but this is the last time you're going to see this form of Mothra for a while.
The end note Mothra that gets to go out on is great, but like having now watched this and seen what we got of Mothra, it's like that was the way you wanted to like use Mothra, being asleep for the majority of this movie.
A lot of monsters be sleeping in this movie.
Until the last maybe 5 minutes.
A lot of monsters be sleeping.
We once again got to see how strong Mothra was. Like one wing hit, essentially, messed up Godzilla. But that is devastating to know. Yeah.
Don't worry. You're going to meet plenty of new monsters and some old ones are going to come back into play as well. So you'll be fine.
Yeah, I just think this movie, the leanness and...
There's a lot of variety, I will say, given that it's an island movie. The fact that they bring in
Do you think so?
There's, in terms of...
Creature.
In terms of creatures.
Okay, yes, Godzilla, that I will agree to.
We have big old shrimp man, we have giant condor, and we have Mothra. I mean, if I tend to forget that like Ebirah Horror of the Deep has more than just Ebirah in it, so every time I watch it's like, oh yeah, that's right, Mothra's here, and along with the giant condor.
Yeah, the giant bird flying out of nowhere was like, what was that? I was expecting the tarantula, the spider one,
Kumunga,
to pop up. And I was every time they turned a corner, I was terrified.
Well, that's at a different island, so don't worry.
Yes, because these islands look remarkably similar. Even down to the cave.
They're nearby each other.
The caves look almost identical.
We'll blame that on the on what's her name? The island goddess in Moana.
Tafiti.
Tafiti, exactly. Thank you for getting that right away.
Yeah. Yeah, so it was like I just think the lean, like, I appreciate.
That's really where you're at. You're at just there's like a lack of depth to the story.
It doesn't allow anything to feel like impactful. It's like, okay, giant lobster crustacean terrorizing ships in the ocean.
Mm-hmm.
So you're thinking we're going to spend a significant amount of time in the water dealing with whatever this is. And it's like, okay, you want to misdirect me to like, this creature is just hovering around this island. Okay, great. It's going to be really difficult to get off of the island because of this creature. It's like, okay. Then we get the Red Bamboo, the terrorist group. Shady terrorist group who has set up shop on this island to develop atomic weapons.
You know,
question mark?
Yeah, sure.
And have been kidnapping people from Infant Island to be their slaves, to make the yellow liquid they need as like crustaceanicide.
Yeah, they were to ward off Ebirah.
To ward off Ebirah so that they can come to this island.
So they can make their nuclear weapons
So they can make their nuclear weapons in peace.
Using coconuts and straws and whatever the fuck.
On this island that they have to get through a giant lobster to get to.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like, okay. And our human characters, our main four, not counting the woman that they're going to meet, one of them is a safecracker who has, now this was successful.
Yes.
The beginning part of this, like when I say it starts, is like everything, maybe like the first 15 minutes of this, I think is really strong. Where it's like, one guy is like, I need a yacht to get to my brother. We don't win the dance party. So me and the two friends that I put up in the dance party are going to go onto this yacht. They get on the yacht. They find that somebody else is there because
a bank robber.
A bank robber is there.
Yeah.
And overnight, the younger brother is like, oh, this is a gift from the gods. I'm going to take this boat out to sea. So now we're all out to sea. And in the process of doing that, we encounter Ebirah. We get shipwrecked, and now we're on the island, right? So, there's
an economic
efficiency of that.
Yeah.
But then, like, after that, it ceases to just be interesting. It just continues to be lean.
That's always my issue with this one. I started up, and it's like, okay, like this is moving, like we're doing things. I even like that there's a silly dance contest that doesn't go anywhere, but they just had it. It was like, why not?
I thought the dance contest of it is great.
Like I imagine it, it's probably like rooted in the culture at this point. It's like, yeah, they have a dance contest occasionally. Like the idea of a Godzilla movie, like, yeah, we'll incorporate something that's modern or whatnot. Like, and yes, it has all this momentum as far as where it's going and what it's trying to do. But the second we get to like, the island and Red Bamboo stuff, I'm just like, this should be more interesting than it is.
Yeah, because it never rises to like a level of intrigue and or danger for anybody other than who is on that island.
Yeah, and that's an issue with island Godzilla movies, I find. The stakes are fairly low because
in a movie that's coming up, which was bad. Not to spoil my reaction to one of the ones that's coming up. And you'll know what you'll know what it is. But it's like, at least in that one, there's like some far-reaching ramifications to what's happening in that space. Here, it's like,
and visually pretty. That's what you kept saying about the monster specifically.
I almost asked you, like, what is Red Bamboo even doing on this island? Like, they're like, one line, oh, it's an atomic fusion place. And then you see like an atomic bomb sort of thing, but you never get the idea of like how that is going to impact the outside world.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's nothing like tangibly real about them as a threat to like interest me in the fact that our main characters have stumbled upon this. Because I don't mind them being shipwrecked randomly and landing on an island, and now we're in a gigantic global conspiracy.
Mm-hmm.
But there's nothing global conspiracy about it.
Yeah. again, the issue with an island movie like this. You automatically lower everything as far as stakes wise and as far as just scale, because you can tell there's not much to do here. And it can sound petty to like talk about this movie this way, but I mean, it honestly makes a difference. Like, there's a formula or whatever you want to call it to Godzilla films that make them feel more impactful because of not just devastation, but the fact that it seems to just register in a way where a part of the world is responding to something happening that's crazy, where this doesn't really have that.
Yeah.
It feels smaller for a movie that's about giant monsters. So by the time you get to giant monsters, it's like, okay, they're doing their thing. Like, I don't dislike that, but at the same time, like, what is it adding to any of this?
Yeah, and I don't think it helps to actively show us multiple times throughout the runtime of this movie that the two monsters that we care about the most, the most popular, Ghidorah notwithstanding, monsters in this entire franchise are asleep.
So it's a long waiting game.
You're waiting, but it's like, it's not building up to anything satisfying because Ebirah never comes out of the water.
Yes.
Right? If I compare it to the Skull Island TV show.
Okay.
Right? Because we're decades away from that.
which I believe you liked as well.
I did enjoy.
I quite liked that show.
I was shook at how serious it got. Right. I said, "Oh,
yes, it does have some."
I said, "Oh,
it has stakes."
I was not. I don't know what I was prepared for. But like, if you think about that squid-like monster is in the water for a giant chunk of time, right? But is still making King Kong's, like, who is way in the middle of this island, is still like terrorizing King Kong somehow in various ways, shapes, or forms. And like here, it's like, okay, so Ebirah is just going to wreck some ships. It brings stakes to the brothers who, you know, midway through the movie know that they have to go back to the island and try and rescue everybody else, right? It certainly gives them stakes when we're like, oh my God, are they going to make it through the water? But like, it doesn't help everything. Ebirah never comes on land. And so it's like the stuff that's really impactful, which I think this is the first underwater sequence we've gotten
since the first
movie.
Yeah.
And it was spectacular. The underwater fight was really, really cool. But I'm like, that's 2-3 minutes of the 80.
Yeah.
You know, so it's, this one is just like the economical nature. Sometimes efficiency is not good for a movie.
Speaking of King Kong, you brought up Skull Island. This movie wasn't going to star King Kong. That was the original intent. It wasn't going to be a Godzilla film. It was going to be Ebirah, and then King Kong would be the aggressor in the scenario.
Interesting.
For a variety of reasons, that just didn't happen. They ended up making Toho ends up making what, King Kong Escapes, or whatever nonsense. And, I'm not forcing us to watch that one.
We got to leave King Kong alone for a while.
For two Black Guys Talk Kong,
yeah.
For all the Kong movies. But yeah, I mean, yes, there's, I would say, short-sighted decisions. Just feels like the intentions are good, but the story doesn't support this in a way that feels satisfying.
Yeah.
And on top of that, you have these human plot ideas or whatnot, and like nothing really stands out as far as, you know, we have obviously some of our returning players as usual, but nothing really stands out as far as the drama is concerned. As far as this, you know, missing brother, random girl shows up, and like it's like, what is this adding up to? That's more compelling than anything else. I mean, it you know, the pieces are there to like give the human something to do, but I can't say that I don't look at it as one of the stronger human plots, despite there being a lot of human stuff to do in this movie. Given the
some would say too much, too much human stuff to do, but like not meaningful. Yeah, it just, because the thing about it is like, okay, we're shipwrecked on the island. I'm the younger brother. I'm looking for my brother. I find out fairly soon that my brother is on Infant Island. Which is not where we currently are.
Print is another castle.
So, very Grey Worm and them showing up to Casterly Rock and finding it abandoned. Right, on Game of Thrones. Very that. And it's like, okay, so great he's alive, but like, and the way he gets to Infant Island is fun. Certainly getting caught on a balloon and suddenly being flown in the air and miraculously landing on Infant Island.
Things happen.
But like, it's like, oh, that's it. And that's why I said, like, efficiency sometimes is not good for a movie. Like, you do need a little mess, a little digging in, some more superfluous stuff. I think this movie tries to answer that with like Ebirah and Godzilla's first battle, where they're just like batting this rock back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, why are we playing handball with the rocks? Like, there's nothing meaningful, but there's nothing like Godzilla wants to get off the island and Ebirah is stopping him. There's just like Godzilla woke up, saw Ebirah, and was like, let's fight. Which I love the on-site nature of that, but there's just nothing to it. It's just the movie was like, okay, well, we know Ebirah and Godzilla are going to have to fight. Meanwhile, Mothra is still on Infant Island, sleeping.
I do like a classic Godzilla throw a rock around battle.
It's just very silly here, because I think I might be giving Godzilla more credit than the Godzilla being presented is showing me. I don't think Godzilla is dumb.
No.
So like, about 2 hits back and forth with the rock, I'm like, charbroil this lobster. Right? Like, they are so economical with the breath, the atomic breath, and not even like, oh, Godzilla needs to charge way. Just like, he's just not going to use it. And it's like, come on, man.
Maybe he's just testing out his new potential pal. Maybe he's like, this Ebirah character.
That didn't look like a friendly match. So from that standpoint, because I just think
Godzilla's kind of a hard ass.
Yeah, but I do think of Godzilla as smarter than that. So when they're just hitting the rocks back and forth, it's kind of like, okay.
And so, in all seriousness, it does speak to Fukuda's own opinions on Godzilla. He's not, frankly, a fan.
Interesting.
Not in the way that, like, we'll get to in the 90s. But as far as this movie goes, like, his interests were more on the Ebirah side of the human stuff. And he before he kind of softened up towards the end of his life, he wasn't the fondest of like having to like shove Godzilla into like aspects of the movies he was making.
Well, that's interesting. Well, yeah, and you can tell. Honestly, this feels like a movie. If somebody had wrote the script and Godzilla wasn't in it and sold it to Toho, and Toho was like
I said, there's a King Kong movie.
Was like, okay, this is great. We're gonna add Godzilla, and the filmmaker was like, question mark. Like, I
mean, again, it was a Godzilla movie at first. I mean, there wasn't Godzilla in there. It was King Kong. So I mean, it is a replaceable element. But I mean, the movie's called Ebirah, Horror of the Deep, right? It's about Ram Bamboo and about finding a lost brother and whatnot. Like, Godzilla's more of we need something to fight this other thing, but not a requirement.
Well, and thinking about the King Kong, funny enough, King Kong has fought a lot of aquatic.
Because you need to challenge these things, and we've
fought a lot of aquatic monsters.
Yeah, because it's a challenge for him, and King Kong has more character to.
Well, yeah, I could see that specifically being like the level of like stress I would feel if I was a King Kong fan watching this type of movie when Ebirah drags Godzilla into the water.
Yes,
where it's like I said, the underwater fight was incredible, loved it.
Godzilla's a sea monster.
But Godzilla is from the water.
Yeah. Which, weirdly enough, this movie's American title was Godzilla versus the Sea Monster, to which I always think, but he is a sea monster.
Yeah, he's an amphibian, right? Amphibians are what are they?
It's amphibious.
Amphibious, yes. So, from that standpoint, you're just kind of like, okay, this is going to be interesting. And I think Ebirah certainly has some things that challenge Godzilla, the claws, but like we never really, like, he doesn't really poke him. It's like, it feels like Godzilla is in more pain from the random flying condor bird that shows up for no reason.
I would agree, and that's another issue I have with this movie. It's called Ebirah. You introduce this giant shrimp thing that has big old claws. I want to see big old claws do some damage.
Yeah.
We're going to see other movies where kaiju have big old features that do a lot of damage on Godzilla, because Jun Fukuda apparently learned his lesson as far as don't give something a giant sword and then use the butt. Like,
yeah. Well, that's how I feel about Godzilla right now, right? Where I'm like, Atomic Breath, he was like, okay, I'm tired of getting pecked in the eye, burn the bird up, and had a nice, rotisserie chicken for dinner.
And it did.
So yeah, that was, it's just like there's stuff in this movie where I'm just like, oh, there's so many things I'm like responding to and thinking about. Like I think that the hilarity of the coincidentalness of like, we're gonna go on this yacht, a bank robber is on the yacht. Great, it's a sign. We don't fully know he's a bank robber yet, but like it's a sign. Now we're in the water, and of course we get to this place where Red Bamboo is doing this thing. We need to be able to get into the facility. Oh, the bank robber knows how to pick locks with his trusty one lock pick to rule them all. Lock pick.
Yeah, it opens one of those giant doors.
It opens two
giant doors.
And his safe cracking skills open an atomic fusion thing, right? So it's like those things those are interesting elements to like grab onto, but they're just never sort of rise above.
Mm-hmm.
If it was like, oh, we need him to like unlock this thing because it's crucial that we escape this place, is different, right? We have characters that randomly pick up smoke bombs, and drop them on the ground, which is crazy. So yeah, it's like there are all these sort of different.
Yeah, I mean, you're mentioning some of these things. Like, it plays like it could be fun if it was leaning more into the comedy of it. And it's not like it's not broad or heightened in any way, but at the same time, it's like the comedic instincts of this film aren't super strong either. So it doesn't. Even if you could, view this movie through a lens that suggests that it's supposed to be funnier than we're thinking it is, I don't think it's presented in a way strong enough to make that humor kind of work. And honestly, I think Honda had some of the same issues too, until he just kind of he realized that there's just inherent humor that he can get out of a lot of what he's doing, as opposed to trying to force it. Yeah,
and I think for Honda in particular, like, he starts off super serious.
Yes.
Right? And we get, an all-time classic out of it. And it's sort of like he sort of had to figure out where the humor could fit in, even though the movie's like Raids again is immediately way more humorous.
It's not Honda either.
It's like, but like the franchise sort of starts to veer into that direction. So
just by nature of
and with this Fukuda, it'd be interesting to see as we continue going on in these and tracking him and sort of his work. What this kind of reminds me of?
You're gonna see an evolution as far as the tone of these movies.
There's one coming down the pike that I'm like,
you need to know what this.
I said, oh, now that I'm thinking about that one, I'm like, oh, the growth, the immense growth. But like, what this kind of reminds me of? What Fukuda sort of feels like in this space is like what Colin Trevorrow's career might have been like if he didn't just make the first Jurassic World, right? You make the first Jurassic World, and to me, as somebody who extremely does not like that movie, if he would have come back for the next two,
it goes back to the third.
But I mean, like,
so if he was consistent the whole way through and had more of an evolution there,
yeah.
So if he didn't get like basically tapped for Star Wars and just stuck with Jurassic the whole time,
yeah, just in like a way of like, I think that some of the issues Trevorrow has in Jurassic World are some of the issues that Fukuda has here, which is like, just there's a little bit of there's a director who understands how to call action and cut. There's a director here who has elements of things that he wants to work with, and it just never coheres. Like in Jurassic World, it never coheres, and then there's stuff in it that's like actively repelling the person who's watching the movie. And here it's like, okay, Fukuda's like, all right, the music, like there's a musical soundscape in here that I'm like, okay, I recognize how that's going to grow. right? The humor, I recognize how that's going to grow. The human plots, the island adventure nature of this thing. It's like, okay, we know how we're going to develop from this, but it's like seeing the first draft of what that person is going to, go on to do. It's interesting to think about it in that way.
I like Jurassic World more than you, but I don't have an immediate example to like pull as a counter.
Yeah. Well, I will say like Jurassic World, it's like he's dealing in, and this is not a Jurassic World podcast, but I think it's interesting to think about in terms of like a Bryce Dallas Howard's character, right? Just the way that character is drawn essentially and used, or homegirl from Merlin who got ate up by, the flying monsters, where it's like really vicious. It's like a really vicious kill. And I know that she wanted to do that, but in the way that the story is being told, it's kind of like, what? And here it's like, okay, we've got these human characters and I need them to move from point A to point B. And it's like, okay, great. You move them from point A to point B, but like, you haven't done anything you just move, you're moving them around a plot, even though you started really strong, right? Guy is so determined to find his brother that he is going to enter his friends into a dance party and they're going to commandeer a yacht, right? Like there's interesting things, and then it just sort of stops. And so it's like in Jurassic World, Bryce Dallas Howard's character, it's like, okay, female boss of entire park. And then it's like, is never going to take off the heels, even though that feels crazy for a woman who works in Jurassic Park. She's going to have a pair of boots just to be able to go walk around the park, right? So this movie sort of being Jun Fukuda's Jurassic World.
I guess in terms of present, because I do think that's part of the humor of the movie. Let me finish.
Yeah.
Along with the notion of having such a vicious kill within this thing, I think the ideas are sound in my mind as far as what they're trying to do with it, but in terms of presentation, I could agree. As far as having a director that is suddenly thrust into a $200 million blockbuster world and trying to execute on these ideas that I think are inherently clever, but only having so many understandings of the know-how of what to do to like properly represent that. So all audiences, not just the $2 billion worth of people that like the movie, but people like Terrence can also enjoy what it's going for.
Yeah, it's like, and here it's like, okay, great, you've got we've got a Godzilla fighting a sea monster. We've got fan favorite Mothra. We've got shady government organization. We've got regular human characters. We've got Infant Island. We've got
giant condor.
Giant condor for some reason. We've got atomic weapons. We've got, all of these things are here. And just like the way that we're using them are like kind of confusing.
That makes me think more of like less of a director specifically, but more of like when you have the pieces and they just don't know what to do with them. So something like the Disney film Wish, which has every element you need to make a proper Disney film, but it's just, and Disney is a studio that should know how to do this by now, and yet despite having an Academy Award winning singer Pine original music from, was it Lin-Manuel? Did he do the songs for Wish?
I don't know if he did the songs for Wish.
No, I think it was at the La La Land people.
Passing and Paul.
Maybe it's regardless. An interesting choice as far as animation style. Evil or Chris Pine's like mother. I don't think she's evil mother. Regardless, it has all the elements of like what you expect from the Disney princess movie. Lays the ball out in front of you and just doesn't know how to fit all the pieces together at all.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just interesting to think about.
Thinking of a Godzilla, where Godzilla's a franchise we're 9, 10, 8 films deep in it at this point. They certainly have something going that's working for them, and here's one that has all these pieces that you've laid out in front of you, and it just doesn't seem to know what it's doing.
Well, and especially because the thing is that we've also watched other monster movies that Toho has made, so it's like it's not even just like Godzilla house style; it's like Toho Studio house style, and
which are still mostly Honda films.
Yes, and they said this movie is just going to be the basic of the basic and lean. This is the ground turkey, the 93.7% fat ground turkey of movies, but like with none of the things that make it. The one thing in this movie that I think really struck me is this the first movie we have seen Godzilla react to a human being and like actively not kill them?
I want to say yes.
Mm-hmm.
Because the only other interaction that Godzilla has as far as like redirecting their thoughts comes from Mothra, basically, with Ghidorah, three other monsters. So I can't think of anything where a human does anything.
So in this one...
Because this one's Godzilla's fully like team humans at this point.
Yeah, Godzilla...
Granted, he's not in a city, so it's not... But...
The red... I almost called these red bamboo. I almost called them red barons. That's not a completely different thing. Red bamboo are chasing after Dio. I believe that's her name.
Mm-hmm.
And they stumble upon Godzilla. They shoot at him. Godzilla does nothing, which I thought was hilarious. But then Godzilla notices that she's like cowering and sort of like acknowledges it and then like starts sleeping standing up, which I was like, what are we doing? It was at this point in my mind, I was like, what is this movie doing? But I just thought that was interesting. There was sort of like there's like an acknowledgement now. But it's the first time that we've seen that. We will see it much more effectively, decades down the line, to give those movies, the legendary ones in particular, there's something interesting in that. But here I was like, oh, this is the first time we've seen Godzilla. So that this is marking like a turn in how we're now anti-hero, but the anti is sort of fading away and we're moving into just
straight up
hero. Yeah.
Yeah. The next movie we're watching in this series, I'm gonna be very curious where you land. Mm-hmm. I won't be surprised by it, but it's the shortest movie in the series. I think it's 69 minutes, if I'm not mistaken. And it makes a lot of choices.
It certainly does.
And we've already talked about the next movie in this series, and so we have thoughts there, which I think are very similar.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we're talking about here. I don't want to get too wrapped up in like what's coming in the future, but like we're gonna get one in between Fukuda movies that I do think tries a lot of different things and throws a lot of pieces on the table that would make for any kind of a good monster movie, and then like has its own way of doing what it's trying to accomplish. You'll see soon enough.
Yeah.
But this movie, yeah, I've always regarded this pretty low. Its reputation is
it's on the low end.
Its reputation is there's some people that like it fine or whatnot. It's not generally regarded like as a high ranking Godzilla movie, so it's not like I'm an outlier in any of this. I do think the problems are very clear is what it's doing as far as having a fairly not weak in terms of concept, but weak in terms of execution monster. They Ebirah, and it's like, it's cool, but like, what does it do? Like, not really anything. It just gets its paws ripped off. It's got Mothra in it. Yeah, right. He doesn't really do anything. She doesn't really do anything. Godzilla's around. Yeah, he's just stomping on the island. That's it. Like, it's a lot of like shrug.
Yeah, it's too lean.
Mm-hmm. Any favorite parts? Favorite moments?
The underwater battle was pretty spectacular.
Yeah, that's where I'd sit as well. I do tend to, the rock bouncing back and forth just because it's just silly to me. It's like, all right. Yeah, I don't think there's anything else to cover when it comes to.
Yeah, this pretty. I think. I know we're gonna get to some water monsters. I'm interested to see where this series is going to go with water monsters.
Do we have more water monsters in this series?
We have one a little further, maybe in the next era, that I'm intrigued to see about.
Okay.
Or at least the impression I got from the cover of the Criterion DVD is that it's a water-based monster. Maybe it's not. I don't know. But I'm intrigued to see, because I think this series has gotten the flying ones correct now.
Yeah, sure. Yes.
I mean, even the Condor bird that randomly showed up, it's like, okay, yes, go for the eyes, do the thing, and then Godzilla was like, I've had enough, and he, wanted some rotisserie chicken. But, Mothra done right, Ghidorah done right, Rodan annoying, but done right,
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm intrigued to see the other types of creatures that we're going to get and how, their unique skill set will then affect the plots and will affect these monster battles.
All right. Well, that we sufficiently talked about Ebirah, Horror of the Deep. You can find everything I do on my personal Substack page, godzilla.substack.com. I am the writer for Week of Entertainment for movie reviews. I am on all the social Darren's PS4. I co-host Out Now with Aaron and Abe with my friend Abe. We talk about weekly movie releases, and I'm also a co-host on the summer of 2015 at 10. Scott Mendelson, Brandon Peters, and I talk about the summer movie season from 10 years ago.
You can find my work at lenoirtour.net. I have guest appeared on the summer of 2015 music video sort of side podcast, I guess. I don't know what Brandon officially. This is terrible.
I have no idea how to phrase it.
I don't know how to phrase it. But if you love what Aaron, Scott, and Brandon are doing in the regular show, there are also shows about particular music videos from that time, and I've guested on one, and I think there's one that's coming up. Mm-hmm. And you can find me on social medias at Terence B. Johnson.
Yeah. Next time on the show, we will be talking Son of Godzilla. So stay tuned for that one. But this has been
Two Black Guys Talk Godzilla. Two Black Guys Talk Godzilla is an independent podcast. The show is produced, edited, and distributed by Aaron Neuwirth and Terence Johnson. Theme music is sampled from Pharaoh Monch. Please rate and review this show on Apple Podcasts. Feel free to email us at blackguystalkgodzilla@gmail.com and follow us on the socials at BLK Godzilla Talk on Twitter and Blue Sky and at Two Black Guys Talk Godzilla on Facebook and Instagram. And if you haven't already subscribed, feel free to do so wherever you download your podcasts so you can keep listening to Two Black Guys Talk Godzilla.